Well, Happy New Year, guys. Today I'm sharing 3 things that I'm going to be stopping for 2025. These are 3 things that, number 1, I picked number 3 because I think it's simple and I wanted to keep things simple and manageable. And then number 2, I like the idea of things that I'm stopping because I feel like it's a lot easier for me to wrap my head around stopping things rather than thinking to myself, okay, I need to start doing these things. I have found over my life that the practice of complaining has a snowball effect. You start complaining, which is negative, and then you're attracting negative energy. And before you know it, there's more negative energy coming in and it's just building up and getting worse. And also, while you're complaining, not only are you feeling worse, then the people around you start feeling worse. The situation around you gets worse. So I've decided that for 2025, I am no longer going to be complaining. And I don't just mean complaining to people around me or people at work. I also mean complaining to myself and in my head. There is a Greek philosopher. His name is Epictetus, and maybe you've heard of him. He's really famous. I actually think a lot of people like him because he was born into slavery and he's coming at his philosophical angle from having a hard life rather than a lot of those philosophers who were pretty privileged. And he had a really good quote, and I'm just going to put it up here. He said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." I don't know if you've heard of this thing that's going out right now. It's like the chill guy thing. My son is doing it as well, and he keeps saying, like, I'm a chill guy. I'm not going to complain about things. I'm not going to let things bother me. And it's interesting because it's totally all about stoicism. It's all about being adaptable and adaptability and resilience. And so this is kind of where I'm going to go with it. So what I've been doing is when I'm out and if I want to complain and I think to myself that I need to complain about something, I will keep that thought in my mind. I will count a few beats and I will let it go. And I will not say it. I will not even think it. When I do that, not only do I have more fun, everyone else has a better time. So for 2025, this is what I'm doing. And if you're interested in trying something like this, I would recommend maybe taking a week where you say, I'm going to not complain for 1 week and see how it goes. See how you feel. I also found as I was researching this video that complaining has a lot of negative effects on our body. What it does is it raises your cortisol levels, but then it puts you in this constant state of flight or fight mode. And you know what happens when you're in that mode. All of the oxygen that's being produced in your body is kind of directed to your organs, and it's directed at making sure that you stay alive and that you're ready for whatever's coming. And it's really bad for you. It also raises your blood pressure. It raises your blood sugar. I found out that people who complain a lot are more susceptible to certain diseases, things like diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, obesity, and people who complain a lot, their brains are more susceptible to stroke. Who would have known? The second thing that I'm going to stop doing, and this is something that I really need to do, and I think I need to do it at work especially, but also in my life as well. And I got this one from the Daily Stoic, if you follow that channel. And the thing that I'm going to stop doing is I'm going to stop replying. And I don't mean stop replying to important work things or to family. I'm not saying that. Last year, at the end of the year, I got this email from a coworker and she was pretty upset about something that she perceived to have happened. And she kind of jumped to conclusions about why it happened and even what it was. I had a completely different view of what had happened. So I got her email, and ordinarily I would start putting together a response. I would start reacting and I would immediately pull together something. I would want to send it as soon as possible. And guess what? I'm definitely putting things in there that I regret, things that I wouldn't say if I had been calmer. So I decided to not respond, and I just sat with the email for a couple of days, and I said, you know what, I'm going to give this 2 days and then I'll respond. 2 days went by. I had totally calmed down. I reread the email and I thought, maybe she's not as upset as it sounded when I first read it. A lot of times I notice this happens to me when I first read an email. Then I get emotionally charged about it, and then I'll read it a couple days later and I have a completely different interpretation of it. I even see this with my husband. Sometimes I will read an email to him and he has a completely different perception than I do. So anyway, I didn't respond to her email, and I said to myself, I'm going to see her in a couple of days. Instead of talking over email about this topic, I'm going to go find her and talk it out in person. Well, guess what? We did that. It went really well. It kind of brought to light that both of us had different ideas of what was going on, and it just helped so much. I can't tell you, if I had sent that original email that I was thinking in my mind to send, it would not have gone well. I also feel this way about YouTube comments. So I get a lot of comments on my YouTube channel, and I try to respond to all of them. I actually, since I've started my channel, I felt that if you guys take the time to write something to me, I want to write back to you. However, in the last month, I think some of my videos have gotten more views and maybe drawing in a wider audience than the typical home decluttering, organization, cleaning kind of content that I usually do. I'm kind of drawing in more people. So with that, I am getting a lot more negative comments. I've seen an increase in negative comments. And usually it's fine. I don't, I just read it. Sometimes I say like, thanks for your perspective or whatnot. And I try not to engage, or I try to understand if I do engage. But again, it's me instantly reacting and replying. And I think for 2025, I'm not going to be doing that. And I think a lot of the comments that I'm talking about are the ones that are, well, they're either objectively rude, or maybe they just watch a quick little video that I've done on a specific topic, and then they have all these assumptions about me. And that happens. I mean, I get it. I'm out there making a video, and anytime you do that, you're going to open yourself up to comments. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to respond to those comments. I'm actually going to stop reading any comments the minute it starts getting a little unpleasant. I'm going to stop reading it, because I don't think it's good for me to constantly be thinking about it or reply or react. If you're trying to do something similar in your life, make yourself less accessible. Don't reply in the moment. You do not need to be accessible all the time, because the other thing I've found is when you are more accessible to people, they end up taking you for granted. When people expect you to respond quickly, or they expect you to respond to some sort of trigger that they've done, and they expect you to respond in a certain way, and then you respond, it reduces your value. And then the third thing that I'm going to stop doing for 2025 is going to bed so late. And a lot of YouTube videos for resolutions and things I've noticed will tell you, get up earlier in the morning. I'm just wondering though, are they just sleep depriving themselves? Are they going to bed at the same time and then getting up early and then they're tired? So I don't go to bed super late. I like to go to bed by 10. I would honestly go to bed at 9, but it's just really not possible with my family. Nobody wants to go to bed that early. But what I have seen, and I recently learned this, a lot of the studies say that people need 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and that's what I've been operating under. However, I feel my best when I get closer to 9 hours of sleep. I've been that way forever. That's just how it is. I recently saw that all of the studies that were done on men. And now they're coming out and saying that women actually need closer to 8 to 10 hours of sleep. 10 hours. And sleep is so important. I don't need to tell you, how important it is, but I think I will, just to bring it all home. But if you can aim to get more sleep, go to bed earlier, it will happen naturally. Over time, you're going to feel so much better. So I did get everyone to agree that we can be in bed from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. So that means even if my kids wake up before 7, they're not going to get out of bed, and we're all in bed at 10. So that gives me this 9 hours where I can at least piece together 8 hours, hopefully closer to 9. We'll see how that goes. I have seen the effects that poor sleep has on my health and on people who I know on their health as well. But just to tell you and not to scare you, when you have poor sleep and you don't get enough sleep, it increases your risk for obesity, for diabetes, cardiovascular disease, injuries, a reduction in cognitive function. Also depression. This is a known fact. When you don't get enough sleep, you are more apt to be prone to depression. You do need a lot of sleep. You do need that 8 hours. Maybe 7 is okay. If you're a female, I'd say more than 8. And that's what I'm going to be doing for 2025. I'm going to be stopping going to bed late, and I'm going to be getting myself some more sleep. And we all deserve more sleep, right? Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video of the 3 things that I'm stopping for 2025. I hope you have a fantastic new year, a safe, happy, healthy, and prosperous one. And if you want to keep watching, I'm going to link a playlist here. Click on it, and I'll see you over there. Bye-bye.